Hello everyone, this is my second video in my Zepbound journey. I wanted to give you an update. This is week 2 on Zepbound 2.5. I give myself the injections on Thursday evenings, and this is Monday, and thought I'd share my update. This week has been quite a bit different than the first week I had. The first week I had went smooth, no side effects, no nothing. This one, I gave myself the shot on Thursday, and then on Friday, I felt fine. All Thursday evening, all day Friday, felt great. My wife and I went out to dinner, and part of the problem is I hadn't eaten all day. You know, you have to remind yourself to eat. You don't get any signals that you're hungry. I don't think about food. I don't think about eating. And so I had to you have to remind yourself to eat. So on Friday, I just didn't remind myself to eat. So Friday evening, my wife and I, we went out to dinner, and I had 6 grilled shrimp and some Brussels sprouts. And then during that meal, I also had a Coke, and afterwards we split an ice cream cone. I could tell by then that I was pretty hungry, so I ate all of my shrimp, a few of the Brussels sprouts, drank my Coke, and like I said, we split that ice cream. But then in about 20 minutes after having that ice cream, walking back to the car, I started getting very sick feeling, very nauseous. I was sweating. I felt shaky and weak. And so much so that I asked my wife if she could drive. I actually had her pull over once because I thought for sure I was going to throw up. Was able to breathe a little bit and didn't actually throw up, but I felt bad. And so then we made it home, and by the time we made it home, probably another 25 minutes or so, I felt fine again. The next day, I felt a little nauseous throughout the day and kind of just wiped from that episode. I ate light, but then by the time Saturday evening rolled around, felt perfectly fine. Sunday was fine. And again, now Monday, I'm perfectly fine. I'm learning. I asked ChatGPT, what was going on. And basically, it told me that I need to learn how to eat on this medication. When to make myself eat. Maybe not force myself to eat, but you know what I mean. When to eat. Start recognizing that I'm still going to be, my body still needs nutrition on this, even though I'm not eating. So that's another thing. And then, that meal I had on Friday night, I probably ate more than I had in a long time. And ChatGPT said, I'm still learning what my meal size should be now. So after the first shot, about Wednesday, and again, I gave myself a shot on Thursday. So by that Tuesday, I started feeling a little more hungry. Wednesday, I was pretty significantly hungry, and Thursday too. And then I took my shot, and that sort of took the hunger away. Everything I read says that's normal. As you get closer to shot day, you start getting a little bit more of an appetite. But yeah, so on Monday I have no side effects. Feeling fine now. The other thing is the night that I gave myself the second shot, that evening I had a slight headache. And I noticed that on my first shot too. On shot day, I had a very slight headache. Nothing I couldn't deal with. I didn't even take Tylenol or aspirin. I am down, let's see, I started at 240, I weighed in at 229 this morning, so I've lost probably a pound a day, half a pound a day at at the least amount. I already feel thinner. Like I said, I think in my previous video, I've lost all of my body pain. I had pain in my feet, my legs, and my knees. All that's gone. My legs are significantly smaller. The swelling that I had, must have been swelling, is gone. In fact, I was telling my wife, I haven't seen my legs this small since I was in my 20s. They look like fit legs. I got the camera wrong, but you know. So overall, I'll keep going, give myself a shot this Thursday, and I'll report back next week. But as of right now, doing pretty good and losing weight. So the biggest lesson that I have here is that I'm learning what my new baseline for eating, and to recognize when I'm actually need nutrition. I may not be hungry, but I do need nutrition. So just trying to make sure I don't repeat those mistakes. I will say, they say the food noise goes away, but I actually am thinking more about food now than I did before I started. Before I started, I'd eat whatever I wanted, and obviously I gained weight, but I didn't think about food. I didn't have the typical food noise that I think some people do. I didn't think about food. When I was hungry, I just ate whatever I could eat. That was a drive-through or fast food or whatever we had in the house, usually snacks or chips or something like that. So I guess in terms of that is gone. I couldn't imagine going to like McDonald's or going through a drive-through and getting a cheeseburger. Just couldn't imagine. It just doesn't sound appetizing to me anymore. So that's good. But I do find that I think more about food now, about what I'm actually going to eat, how I'm going to nourish my body, what won't potentially make me sick, because there is still some heartburn that comes along with this, so I try to avoid foods that might cause me some heartburn. So overall, update for week 2, doing well, and I'll see you next week.